So as we gear up for an exciting weekend in the AFL, where Scott Pendlebury is set to break the record for the most games played, it's a perfect moment to reflect not only on the veterans in the AFL and sports generally, but what about the impact of the youth? Because on the same weekend that Pendlebury is going to be breaking the all-time record, we've got a young, precocious talent here in Western Australia by the name of Harley Reid that's going to be playing his 50th game. And if you spoke to Harley, you'd almost get the feeling that his 50th game is as big a feat as Scott Pendlebury breaking the all-time record. Now, some people will say that's big-headed. I'll say that's a sense of belief. It's that sense of belief that has astounded us over the years with the performance of young people who have helped craft some memorable moments on the sporting field. Now, the AFL have changed the rules. You have to be 18 to be drafted, but that wasn't always the case. In fact, one wonders how young would have Chris Judd been before he made an impact in the AFL? How young could have Ben Cousins been when he dominated the AFL? Harley Reid himself, what would have he been like as a 16-year-old? Or would have he got a game in the AFL? Everyone thinks that Nick Dacos was ready to play AFL when he was 16 years of age. Of course, that can no longer happen. But if we cast our mind back, Tim Watson, at the age of 15 and 305 days old, absolutely blitzed the VFL, as it was known in those days, with his performance as a precocious teenage talent. Wayne Harms became the youngest recipient of the Norm Smith Medal in the 1979 Grand Final, achieving this at 19 years of age. But some of my fondest recollections and some of the fondest performances of precocious teenagers has come from the West Australian Football League. Bruce Monteith, now there's a name. I went to Hamilton Hill Senior High School, and so too did Bruce Monteith. And I can recall, as a first-year student, there was Bruce wandering around the corridors of Hammy High as a Year 11 student, and teachers, students, and everybody alike were fawning after him because Bruce Monteith was playing senior league football with South Fremantle at 16 years of age. Not long after that, Stan Magro debuted for South Fremantle at 15 years, 257 days to become the iconic player known for his fierce style of play. Ben Cousins himself made his mark at East Perth at just 16 years old. Glenn Jakovich debuted in round one of 1989 at the Waffle. He too playing for South Fremantle, 16 years and 15 days old. Who remembers Stephen Coniglio, 16 years, 249 days old, leading Swan Districts to a legendary one-point premiership victory in 2010 by kicking 4 goals in that memorable victory in the Waffle Grand Final. Other notable names include Guy McKenna, who debuted for Claremont at 16 and 56 days. We also had Daniel Wells, who starred at 16 years and 70 days for Peel Thunder, becoming one of the most hyped prospects of the early 2000s. Even Brad Hardy made his senior Waffle League debut at just 16 years of age. Obviously, it was for the South Fremantle Football Club in 1979, showing that age was no barrier to talent. Now let's turn our attention to cricket, where young talents are also making headlines. Bear with me here as I try to pronounce Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Let's try that again. Suryavanshi. That's him, Suryavanshi, who's the teenage sensation playing for the Rajasthan Royals in the IPL. He made global headlines, of course, debuting at 14 years and 23 days old. He's now Well, the seasoned age of 15. And he's rewriting T20 record books and showing the world what young talent can achieve. Ellyse Perry, she debuted for the Australian women's national team in July 2007. She was only 16 years and 281 days old. She's the youngest player ever to represent Australia in international cricket, even before she played a single senior level domestic game. Our current captain, Pat Cummins, he debuted against South Africa in 2011. He was 18 years and 193 days old. He marked his entry with a stunning 6 for 79 in the second innings, earning him player of the match. Now, of course, we've got Ollie Peake, who's 19 years of age, and he's become the youngest male specialist batter to be named in the ODI squad, eclipsing the early career benchmarks of Ricky Ponting. And then, of course, we all remember Sam Constas, where he made history by earning a baggy green test cap at 19 years of age, becoming one of the youngest opening batters for Australia since Neil Harvey, all the way back to the 1940s. For those who like the round ball game, well, in soccer, we've also had some young, precocious talents. None better than way back in 1958, when Pelé became the youngest player to score a hat-trick in a World Cup. A hat-trick in a World Cup. And he was 17 years, 244 days old. He netted twice in the final against Sweden and was named the World Cup's best young player, marking the beginning of an extraordinary career. And if we fast forward to 2018, we have Mbappé, who made headlines by scoring 4 goals, including a stunning brace against Argentina in the knockouts. He was 19 years old. He became the first teenager to score in a final since Pelé. Michael Owen earned global stardom at 18 years old during 1998's World Cup, where he scored an unforgettable solo goal against Argentina, taking home the World Cup's Best Young Player award. Who can forget Shane Gould in the 1972 Munich Olympics by winning 3 gold medals? And yes, she was 15 years old. But it's not just in Australia where youth shines. Across the globe, young athletes have made their significant impacts. In tennis, you think young, you think Boris Becker. He became the youngest player to win Wimbledon at just 17 years of age, way back in 1985. Okay, this guy was no longer a teenager, but by the time he got to become the youngest heavyweight champion of the world, he had just turned 20. Mike Tyson, he evidenced his raw power, his determination, and definitely left a mark on that sport. So, as we celebrate Scott Pendlebury's upcoming milestone this weekend, let's also honour the young athletes who are making an immediate impact across various sports. Their achievements remind us that the sports world is ever evolving, and it's vital to support and inspire the next generation of champions. So whether you're watching from the stands or tuning in from home, let's keep cheering on our young stars as they continue to redefine what it means to be an athlete.